Hey guys, thought I'd do a little bit different of a video. Let me see if I can get this to straighten out. There we go. Straighten out a little bit. There we go. For any of you dental nerds out there, I thought maybe you guys might be interested to see some of the stuff that I do in my real job, which is at our dental office. I actually have some lab work to do today. I need to make some things where we can do temporaries. In our office, we don't use prefab temporaries. We make our own, which means I have to make them from actual models from the patient's model. So I have to build things up that aren't there, things of that nature. We like it better just because it works better. The patient's mouth seems to accept it a lot easier because, well, you know, it's theirs. So I have a tooth that I need to build up for a crown that we're doing. And then another case, I have to make a temporary for a 3-unit bridge. This tooth is missing, so I need to put a tooth there and then make a mold over that so that when we prep the teeth down, we can put a temporary 3-unit bridge in there. And I don't know, you guys may hate this, but I'm a complete dental nerd and I'm fascinated with anything that goes on in the dental field even 24 years later. So I thought you guys might just like to see kind of some of the stuff that I do. And if you like these kind of videos, let me know. I will be more than happy to make some more and teach you guys some things in dental field. So I'm going to move the camera down where you can see the models and stuff and what I'm doing. So, all right, yeah. Let's see, hopefully we can go down far enough. Oh, we'll see. Okay, we'll try to work kind of like that. Okay. Back a little bit further. Hey, there we go. You guys might be able to see some of the stuff that I'm doing. All right. We're going to do the 3-unit bridge first. I have models that I have made of certain teeth left and right. It's my little cheat. It's got me something to start with so that I have a full tooth. I actually filled that up with dental wax, and it should be cool enough now. I'm just going to pop it out, and then we'll retrofit it, basically. I said the word basically again. You guys need to start doing a counter of how many times I say basically. I don't know, maybe we'll start giving away gifts or something for whoever gets the count right. Of course, that means I have to go through and count everything, but I'll do it because I need to stop saying basically. All right, so I have my little wax tooth, which doesn't look like much now. Put it on the correct size. Okay, it's way too high. As you guys can see, it's sticking way above these two. So we're going to trim it down. I have a lab scalpel. Woo! And I'm just going to cut a little bit off of the wax. And then we're going to try it again. Hey, there we go. Okay, now that looks pretty good, actually. Oh, I need my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I need to fill in this gap right here. Looks good in the back. I'm real happy with that. But I need to fill in this front gap. So we're going to do that. Get our flame going here. Yes, I get to work with fire too. Woo! All right. And then I need some more instrumentation. We'll do our waxing instrument and we'll do this. Okay, this is a cool kind of little tool if you guys can see that. I'm going to heat that up and we're going to move this wax around. I'm probably going to add a little bit as well, which is with this instrument. You can see the dark side and you see this side. That side never touches the fire. You want to know why? Because doctor said not to ever touch it with the fire, so we don't. That's the rule. All right, so I'm going to melt the wax, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in that little hole Hopefully you guys can see that because I'm trying to do it where you can. Oops, sorry. Okay. We'll do a little more. That way I've got something to carve off. I'm going to heat up the wax. We're going to add it right there. Okay. That's looking pretty good. All right, we're going to let that cool, and we're now going to go work on this tooth. This tooth is a crown that broke. It broke in half, so I have to put the other half on here so that I can make a temporary, and he's got a full tooth in there and we don't get stuff in there. So I'm going to start packing this side right here with wax. I'm going to get some wax. We're going to heat it up, and then we're just going to dip it in there. And basically right now, see, did it again. Right now, all I'm trying to do is fill in this hole, and then we'll carve it. So I'm trying to get a whole bunch of wax material. Ouch, that's hot. Get that out of my way. Just fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. Then we'll let it cool and we'll start carving. Now, all my lab friends out there that are subscribers to my channel would probably just have a fit because I'm sure I don't do this the way the labs do it. I'm self-taught, but I get the job done, and it doesn't take me too terribly long to do it, so I guess it's all fine and well. Being a little arty doesn't hurt in the field of dentistry, because there's a lot of artistic things that we do to make things look good. And it's not necessary, oops, let me try to get this where you guys can see this, you know, to have dental anatomy and temporaries and things like that, but I do it because I don't make any ugly teeth. All right, we've kind of built that up pretty good. I'm just gonna let that cool, and then we'll start to carve. We're gonna clean off our instrument. All right, I'm gonna blow that flame out for right now. And now we're going to start carving back at the 3-unit bridge. I have a little carving instrument that I use. And then I have this side. There it goes. Okay, so we are just going to start carving. This is a little weird because I don't normally carve at this angle, but I'm trying to get in here for you guys to be able to see this. There we go. Maybe we can do that. I don't know, let's see if we can bring this up a little bit and then maybe move it forward. That might help me out. We'll turn you this way. Hey, there we go. Now I'm not bending over as much. Okay. Kind of clear off the in-betweens here. You know, I need those point of view cameras. That would be cool. Those glasses, that'd be a cool thing to do. You guys would be able to really see what I see. And again, this may be boring for some people. If it is, let me know. Okay, I gotta put you on pause. Somebody just came in. Hold on. Mailman. Okay. back to our carving. Okay, the back looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm just going to leave it alone because that actually looks really nice. So we're going to leave it alone. Front's looking better. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put the lower arch with the top arch, and then I'm going to kind of smash it in a little bit. Okay, that's probably his bite. So what I'm going to do is just press a little bit and see if I get any indentions. I kind of didn't. The reason I do that is because, again, I don't want to have to carve on this a whole lot when I make the temporary, so I'm trying to do any adjustments that I can do in wax. So I'm just going to take the occlusion down a little bit, and the occlusion is basically how the teeth touch each other. That's what we mean by occlusion. It's how they fit together. So I want to make sure that I try to get his occlusion as close as I possibly can. There's a big bubble in there. Let's get that big bubble out of there. There we go. Okay, that's better. Let's hit that again, because that might have stopped it, although that looks pretty good. So usually what I'll do is I'll take it down a little bit extra, because for whatever reason the temporaries are always higher. Don't ask me why, it's just the rule, it's just how it works. Doesn't matter if it looks like it's perfect occlusion, it's almost always higher. So I'm not going to take it out, meaning that they don't touch at all, but I am going to take it down quite a bit. There we go. Okay. Our temporaries are made out of a high impact resin. So they're meant to come off. And we want them to come off because we need them to when the permanent one is made. This basically will give the patient a chance to get used to a tooth being there. It's been a while since one's gone, so it makes it easier for them to accept the permanent crown. Once we get it in, it's not quite so foreign to them. They're used to having a tooth there. And again, I'm an absolute stickler for contour and anatomy and all of those things. So I want it to look good and function and do all that kind of stuff. Again, it's not necessary, it's just me because I'm picky. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. That looks really good. It's got some nice anatomy in it. You can see like the little hills and valleys. Back of it looks really nice. So I think we're good. So that one's done. We'll make a mold for that in a minute. All right, this one, see, is just a big old blob of pink wax. So I'm gonna try to make this look like a molar as much as I can. All right, we're gonna get the top off because I know I don't need any of that there. So we'll scrape all that off. We'll do it gently because otherwise, if you do too much, you pop the whole thing out and we gotta start all over again, which I don't wanna do. So right now I'm just scraping the inside of it to get that contour a little bit better because it's super messy. So we'll do that. I just stick with the contour of the tooth, and then we'll do the same thing in the front. I'm going to turn it this way and hopefully you guys can see. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we're going to work on the top and the in-between. It's way too thick back here, so we need to take some of that away because it needs to have in-betweens. Just like there's an in-between here, this is all covered up, so we need to kind of clear that out a little bit. We're going to clear it out from right there as well because it doesn't need to touch that hard. Here we go. This one probably won't have as much anatomy in it just because I won't be able to. The crown itself is pretty flat, so we're probably going to end up with something kind of sort of the same. Trying to get all of that out of the middle that I can, because otherwise it would be too high. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of anatomy in there. There's kind of a big hole. That's where basically they had to, I said it again, that's where they had to do a root canal through a crown. So they had to cut a hole through the crown and then do the root canal. And then we just left the crown until it broke and we had no choice, which is what we're doing now. He got a pretty good long time out of it. I'd say about 1.5 years, which is pretty good. It's not bad. Because technically there was nothing wrong with the crown until it broke, so. Okay. That's not going to be the prettiest thing ever, but it did fill in the space a bit, so it will hopefully get used to it being there. I think I need to actually build up these two sides because they do need to touch. If they don't touch, the other tooth, the opposing tooth, will continue to super erupt, and we don't want that happening. I can kind of show you. See how you can see daylight through that? See how you can't there? That should touch a little bit, so I'm probably going to bring that area up so that it at least touches that tooth. I don't think you can see that from in between. But on the back, yeah, there we go. It's the same way. You can't, there's nothing touching. So I think I'm going to build that up a little bit more, which means we need the fire back. So we'll do that. Maybe. There we go. All right, and we're going to get some more wax. I'm actually going to use this thing again because you can actually get beads of wax, drop them, and then drag them and pull them because I'm looking to try to get cusp tips. So I'm going to heat this up. I have some wax. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it on the thing, and we're going to get a little bead. Just like that. See a little bead? And we're going to drop a bead. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to get some more wax. Get our little bead. And drop it. Well, run that through the flame again. I got a little too cold. Still a little too cold. There we go. And we're going to drop our bead. Because we don't need a whole lot, we just need some cusp tips. So dropping beads is a really good way to do that. We don't get an extreme excess bead that we now have to trim off. There we go. A little bit more. Yeah, we'll drag it down a little. And take the same instrument, and we're going to kind of smash those beads down because we need them to stay. So I'm going to kind of mush that down. See how we're getting points now? Just like here, we're getting points on the other side now. I can also heat this and use this to clean up the front, which I will. There we go. So now we're getting some anatomy again. And we did need some for this. Because again, the crown's going to have anatomy, so I need the patient to get used to this. Okay. Now, it's a little pointy. Yay! It's a little pointy right there. So what we'll do is we'll put his models together, and we'll just kind of see and let that kind of dictate where that needs to be. And actually it's not hitting, so we're good, but you can see how we've got anatomy now. So it's a little bit better, which I like, and I'll be okay with that. Even though it's not hitting in the middle, we're okay. So we might do just a little bit of scrape work right there. We might do a little bit more bead work just to make sure we got enough. Make sure it's stable so it doesn't come off as I'm trying to make the temporary mold. All right, we'll bulk that up a little bit. It's right there. There we go. That looks good. So now we have the inside. There you go. You can see that nice little cusp. I'm happy with that. Yep. We'll do a little bit more on the other side. Do just a little bit of carve work. I just try to follow the natural contour to make that cusp the way I want it. There's a lot that goes into these things. I think a lot of people they don't realize how much that we have to do. This is just making it temporary. This has got nothing to do with the actual construction of the real crown, which is done by a lab. And we have it done by a lab because they know better than we do. They're good at what they do. That's why we have them. And we let them do their job because that's the right person for the job. Okay. I'm fairly happy with that. Clean up my front just a little. And sometimes you just got to know when to stop, because I'll sit here and work on this thing forever if I don't watch it. Okay. All right. I'm happy with that. We've got some anatomy now. It looks good. Okay, off with the flame. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put this away. I'm going to make the actual molds that I use to physically make the temporaries, which is what I stick in their mouth. So let me clean my stuff up, because it always works better if you clean up after yourself. Put your instruments back where they belong. That goes in there. These go in there. Okay. That goes back in there. All right. Clean up as we go because I got a lot of wax up here. Okay, so now we're just going to make molds for these. So we make sure we get the correct teeth with the correct teeth. All right, now I have special putty that we use for this. You have to mix them up. Oop, we're out of that one. Okay, put that one away. We'll get the next one. We'll open that up. This is also what we use to physically do the impression for the crown, which is oddly enough. Okay, so now I take these two pieces, the pink or the purple and the white, and you mix them together, and then they'll harden up because I've mixed them together. Takes a minute or so. Gotta move quick, but I have more than enough time. As long as they don't touch each other, they don't activate. And this is used for lots of stuff. I've actually used this in my caking stuff. Like if I need to make a mold of something to make something edible, I'll use this because that's perfectly safe to be in your mouth. Obviously, we do it in dentistry, so I'm telling you, my life touches over in every other part of my life, so try to utilize what I have. All right, now that I have it all mixed up, I'm going to make a little thing like this. We get this like this. We spread it around both sides. We need it front and back. I need it to touch the teeth further in front and further in back than what we're actually dealing with. And I'll show you why when I do the finished trim on this model. Okay, so now that's good, and we're gonna let this dry. That takes probably 15 minutes or so. I mean, it'll be actually hard in like 3 or 4, but I'll leave it for about 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll trim that, which is my mold, to physically make their temporaries. Now we're gonna do it again for the 3-unit bridge, which means it has to go all the way back here, and it has to go all the way up here because these are the 3 teeth that we're gonna cut. So these are gonna be my marks. I've gotta have those teeth involved. So I gotta make sure that I have enough to span all the way up there. For any of you that watch my channel, you all know I do my own nails, in case anybody wants to know. This is called Petal Pink. This came from Sally's. It is their dip system, which I love. I love any dip system, to be quite honest. Okay, so now we need to make this one a little bit longer because it's got to go all the way up and all the way back. So make it flat. We're going to bring it around, make sure that it covers all of those teeth. We squish it together to make sure we've got good contacts. There we go. We'll let that dry. So we'll be back later and I'll show you what this looks like when I trim them off. Okay, we're back. I'm just going to trim these models, or these molds actually. I'll show you how I do that. And then we're good. Okay, so there's that one. You see it's all nice and hard now. See what it looks like? It's very cool. And then I'm basically going to trim, because these are the 3 teeth that we're doing. We're doing this one, and this one. So I'm going to cut it over here and cut it over here. And I cut them halfway so I have marks. I'll show you. See how that goes? You can see half that tooth and I can see half that tooth. So it tells me that when I put it in their mouth, because I can't see when it's covered, that I have it in the right place. I can see where I'm going. And then we're going to do the same thing to this one. We're doing that tooth, so we're going to cut here and there. And voila, there we have it. You can see where I'm going. So you take that off, that's what it looks like. I fill the inside of this impression with our material, which is a high impact resin. I then place it in the patient's mouth. You let it dry, and then it comes out and you end up having a tooth like that, and then it gets cemented on after I trim it and do all that stuff. Pretty cool. So that was today's dental lesson in how to make temporaries for crowns and bridges. Again, if you guys liked this, then let me know if you want to see more of stuff like this. Leave some comments down below and let me know, and I will be happy to get those things out there for you guys. All right, well, you know the rules. Till I see you next time, stay safe, stay clean, and have a perfect day. Bye.